Breaking news from the Middle East. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is on the verge of backing Donald Trump's divisive Gaza peace proposal. Yet beneath the headlines lies a whirlwind of uncertainty. Will this plan bring lasting peace, or will it plunge the region into deeper turmoil? Stay with us, as what we reveal next could reshape the future of Israel, Palestine, and global diplomacy. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we explore one of the most explosive political developments of 2025, Netanyahu's indication of support for Trump's controversial Gaza peace framework. On the surface, it appears to be a pivotal moment. Israel, under intense pressure, is considering a US-designed plan to end the devastating Gaza conflict. But as we dig deeper, the situation proves far more complex. This is not merely about ceasefires or negotiations. It concerns survival, politics, and credibility. Long criticized for resisting compromises, Netanyahu now faces a precarious balancing act. He must satisfy the international community while keeping his far-right coalition partners aligned. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, eager to portray himself as a global dealmaker, is staking much on this plan to define his foreign policy resurgence. However, Hamas, the Palestinian militant group central to this crisis, has yet to accept the deal. Without their consent, every clause and promise remains fragile. So what exactly does the plan entail? Why is Netanyahu suddenly inclined toward it? Most importantly, what does this mean for the civilians trapped in the conflict? Join us as we dissect this story into 10 compelling parts, examining the history, politics, reactions, and looming uncertainties. By the end, you'll grasp why this initiative might be remembered either as a breakthrough or merely another episode in a century of failed promises. Dubbed the Trump Peace Plan for Gaza, the proposal is a single-page document outlining a complex 20-point strategy intended to address immediate humanitarian needs, long-term security issues, and political control of Gaza. At its heart, the plan calls for a phased Israeli withdrawal from sections of Gaza, contingent on Hamas disarming and releasing all hostages. In return, Gaza would be overseen by an international transitional authority, potentially including Arab nations and Western allies, while its long-term governance is determined. One of the plan's most daring elements is the demand for the full demilitarization of Gaza. This means dismantling Hamas weapons, infrastructure, tunnels, and rocket capabilities. In exchange, Israel promises to soften its blockade, permit increased humanitarian aid, and eventually open corridors for reconstruction. The US commits billions in assistance if conditions are met. But there are conditions. Netanyahu has made clear that neither Hamas nor even the Palestinian Authority will govern Gaza again. This creates a precarious power vacuum. Who will take over? An international peacekeeping body, a coalition of Arab countries, or a new entity altogether? Trump and his supporters hail the plan as a historic opportunity, but critics label it unrealistic. Negotiating Hamas disarmament seems unlikely, expecting a divided Palestinian leadership to accept foreign administration borders on fantasy. Nevertheless, Netanyahu's tentative acceptance signals a blend of pressure and desperation. The big question, can this plan move from theory to practice? Or is it doomed like those before it? For Netanyahu, embracing Trump's peace plan isn't only about geopolitics, it's about his political survival. Years of corruption allegations, scandals, political turmoil, and war mismanagement have severely damaged his reputation. His image as Israel's security pillar has eroded, especially after prolonged fighting in Gaza yielded no clear victory. By supporting Trump's plan, he aims to alter the narrative, portraying himself as a pragmatic leader willing to risk peace, albeit with strict terms. Internationally, this makes him appear cooperative. In Washington, it secures crucial support during a time when Israel's global standing faces criticism. But domestically, this is a high-stakes gamble. Far-right ministers in his coalition have warned they might topple the government if Netanyahu concedes too much. They argue any withdrawal from Gaza is a betrayal of security, and foreign oversight is unacceptable. Should Netanyahu push for compromise, he risks losing his grip on power and potentially ending his political career. Rejecting the plan outright also carries dangers: isolation from allies and mounting pressure, especially amid the humanitarian crisis shocking the world. Netanyahu is caught in a lethal bind between international demands and the hardline stance of his political base. His embrace of the plan is a razor-thin balancing act. One misstep could lead to government collapse or diplomatic ruin. For Donald Trump, the Gaza peace plan represents more than foreign policy. It's personal branding. Throughout his presidency, Trump championed himself as the ultimate dealmaker. Now, with global eyes on him, Gaza is the stage for reclaiming that legacy. This 20-point proposal positions him as the sole U.S. leader capable of brokering what others could not. It's a demonstration of strength internationally and a boost to his political comeback at home. For supporters, it proves Trump delivers deals, not wars. Symbolically, previous U.S. administrations struggled to convene Israel and Palestinian factions, yet Trump's plan has pushed Netanyahu to respond and pressured Hamas. Success or failure, the optics alone fuel Trump's boast. However, the irony is striking. While Trump touts peace, the plan is controversial. Critics say it neglects Palestinian sovereignty, gives Israel excessive power, and sets conditions Hamas is unlikely to accept. Detractors warn it might escalate tensions, especially if Palestinians view it as an imposed solution lacking their input. Still, Trump bets that even partial progress will enhance his legacy. Should Netanyahu approve and Arab states cautiously engage, Trump can claim a diplomatic victory. Failure, however, could devastate the region and tarnish his carefully crafted image as the world's top negotiator. The chief obstacle remains Hamas itself. This group wields military and political power, having governed Gaza for years, resisting Israeli offensives and surviving under harsh conditions. For Hamas, disarmament isn't just political, it's existential. Without arms, their strength and influence evaporate. The plan demands Hamas release Israeli hostages and dismantle its arsenal before concessions start. From Hamas' viewpoint, that's surrender without guaranteed protection. They fear Gaza becoming an open-air prison under international control, stripping Palestinians of self-determination. Yet Hamas faces enormous pressure. After months of war, Gaza's civilians endure vast suffering: destroyed homes, crumbling hospitals, mass displacement. International actors, including Arab nations, urge Hamas to see the plan as a path to relief. Rejecting it outright risks further isolation. For the wider Palestinian community, the plan raises agonizing dilemmas. Who governs Gaza if not Hamas or the Palestinian Authority? Will international oversight respect Palestinian rights or simply extend Israeli influence through proxies? And what about the dream of an independent Palestinian state? Is it permanently abandoned? Hamas must choose between survival and legitimacy. Agreeing risks losing its identity as resistance. Refusing condemns Gaza to more suffering and possible military escalation. Palestinians remain trapped in a global power struggle, their fate once again decided by others. Regional powers watch closely, their stances could make or break the plan. Egypt, Qatar, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia all have stakes. Egypt seeks stability to guard its border. Qatar, a key humanitarian backer, wants a role in reconstruction. Saudi Arabia hopes normalization with Israel might bolster its diplomatic position. Publicly, some Arab states cautiously praise the humanitarian focus while avoiding explicit support for the political framework. Their chief concern is preventing chaos, which breeds extremism. None wish to appear endorsing a plan sidelining Palestinian hopes. Behind closed doors, talks involve forming an Arab coalition for international oversight. But skepticism runs high. Would Palestinians accept them or see them as collaborators with Israel and the U.S.? Arab fears also include the plan's failure triggering regional unrest, protests, and spilling violence destabilizing fragile governments. No Arab state is eager to shoulder Gaza's volatile governance. In summary, Arab states show tentative support but mix it with wariness. They may fund or facilitate elements but hesitate to commit forces or take full responsibility. Beyond the region, the global community remains divided. The UN, AU, and humanitarian groups cautiously welcome potential relief but doubt the political framework. Critics argue it prioritizes Israeli security and U.S. influence while marginalizing Palestinian self-rule. For Europe, the plan offers a chance to reduce conflict, fueling refugee crises and political rifts. Yet, aligning too closely with Trump risks backlash from human rights and Arab allies. Russia and China view the plan strategically, seeking to boost Middle East influence by positioning themselves as alternatives to U.S. mediation. Should Trump's effort fail, Moscow and Beijing could step forward as peacemakers, undermining U.S. credibility. Humanitarian organizations support aid flow, but warn that without genuine commitments to Palestinian rights, the plan risks freezing the conflict rather than resolving it. International oversight, in their view, is no replacement for political sovereignty. The global message is clear: peace is desired, but not at any cost. Without addressing core Palestinian demands and enforcement, global backing may remain lukewarm, a perilous sign for any lasting peace agreement. Despite headlines, Trump's peace plan faces enormous obstacles, any of which could prove fatal. Hamas' willingness is uncertain. Disarmament remains a no-go without ironclad safeguards. Netanyahu's hold on power teeters amid coalition threats. The plan risks alienating Palestinians who feel excluded from talks, potentially sparking unrest. Implementation remains a logistical nightmare. Questions about guardianship, weapons collection, and aid transparency loom large. The plan is vulnerable to spoilers. Any provocation could reignite violence overnight. Netanyahu may be ready to back the plan, but dark clouds linger. Peace in the Middle East is never simple. This attempt could either disrupt cycles of violence or add another layer of disappointment. To fully understand the skepticism, we must remember history. This is not the first peace effort. Past decades saw the Oslo Accords, Camp David talks, Annapolis Conference, and Trump's 2020 deal of the century. Each initially promising, each collapsed under mistrust, violence, and political divides. The cycle is hauntingly familiar: hope followed by disputes, then bloodshed. Palestinians perceive promises as broken. Israelis fear security risks. International mediators underestimate hostilities' depth and local complexities. Trump's plan differs by focusing solely on Gaza rather than the entire conflict, aiming to make progress where broader talks failed. Yet critics warn without addressing Palestinian statehood, no solution will hold. History teaches a harsh truth: lasting peace can be imposed. It must be built on trust, compromise, and mutual recognition. Without these, even the grandest plans fail. Hence, despite the fanfare, many analysts doubt this time will be different. Netanyahu's support of Trump's plan may mark a turning point, but its eventual outcome remains uncertain. On one hand, there is hope: ending Gaza's suffering, securing Israel, and uniting international partners. On the other, fear: the plan could collapse amid rivalry, distrust, and violence. For Netanyahu, this is a high-stakes gamble for his leadership and country's future. For Trump, a chance to reclaim his image as the great dealmaker. For Hamas, a battle between survival and legitimacy. For Palestinians, another uncertain chapter in a century-long fight for rights and recognition. The truth is, success depends on more than signatures. It demands leaders willing to compromise and public readiness, Israeli, Palestinian, and global, to back a plan that could reshape the Middle East. What's your take? Is this peace effort genuine or just another illusion? Will Netanyahu's risk pay off, or will history repeat itself? If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth political coverage. Your support allows us to bring vital stories to light. Remember, the discussion doesn't end here. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate the future. Tell us your city in the comments below and share your story. Remember, success is the best revenge against those who underestimate you. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of triumph over discrimination. And always remember, never judge someone by their appearance, because the person you disrespecting today might be signing your paycheck